What is up? Good morning, guys. It is 5:03. I got up at 4:40 to get ready. I already read a little bit of my book, The Obstacle is the Way. That's what I'm reading right now. And then I drank my 24 ounces of water. I'm really big on the one step morning routine. And that one step for me is the 24 ounces of water. I'm trying to wake up and read that book immediately, even if it's just 10 pages or something like that. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to move out of this bed. But today I woke up feeling phenomenal. I know it's gonna be cold outside because there's a cold front. It's fall. It's awesome. I get to wear a hoodie without sweating. I'm gonna go train legs. Regardless of how I feel when I wake up in the morning, whether it be one of these days where it's awesome or one of the days where I am just fighting to get out of that bed, I always get up every single time. I know what it feels like when you don't want to get up and you're like, your brain's like, oh, you need more sleep, you need to relax, you need to rest. And this is coming from someone who, like, on the weekends, I would be getting up at noon, like 1 p.m. And then on the weekdays when I had work, I would just set my alarm to like right before I had to get up. Like, I slept till the latest I could sleep to be able to get up and get ready for work. And then I would start my day in a rush. And so I'd feel like shit for the whole day because I started the day like in a rush, trying to get out the door and like didn't make the best decisions possible, didn't pack my lunch, didn't do all the things I was supposed to do. And so, like, the whole day was just like, oh, I'm playing catch up because in the morning I couldn't get up when I was supposed to. I was like stressed to get everything I needed to do done. And no matter how much you like can try to convince yourself that getting more sleep and like sleeping in and like getting 5 extra minutes is going to help you, it's really not. Like, your brain will do absolutely anything in its fucking power to keep you in that bed. Just know that it'll do anything in its power to keep you right where you're at because it knows that that's safe and it hates change. So whether your brain resists you or not, get up and get after it. Let's go to the gym. we just left the gym. What a phenomenal fucking workout. It is 6:30. We got the whole day ahead of us. Look, this is how you set yourself up to have the best day ever. Because a lot of the times, you think that doing this stuff first thing in the morning, first, as soon as you wake up, takes your energy. I feel more energized than I ever have in my entire life right now. Got my blood pumping, heart rate up, had a little bit of caffeine this morning. Best way to start the day. This is way better than trying to fight for an extra 10 minutes of sleep and then start your day in a rush and start behind the ball. Alright guys, the lighting's not super great in the car, but it's okay. You know what? It's totally fine. Alright guys, I gotta head home now. Usually I would do cardio after that, but it's already 6:32. I want to be ready for all my client stuff for the day, and then I have some things that I need to work on before I can start the day, so cardio is going to have to be either in the middle of the day or once the work day's over, which, considering, I'm technically in the off-season right now, so my show isn't until June of 2026, and I'm doing low-intensity cardio, so it's not imperative that I do it after my workout. But honestly, whatever you can do to fit it in. If you're in a rush to go somewhere and you can't hit your cardio, don't feel bad about it, just put it in another time. One thing that I used to think was that this stuff was so rigid. If I can't do it then I'm not going to do it at all. When that's not the case. That's not true. You can always fit it to your schedule. Sometimes I'd have to break. You guys can barely see me, I know, I'm sorry. But sometimes I have to break up. Also, I'm holding the camera so it stays steady. I'm so sorry if it's really dark right now. But sometimes you have to break up what you're doing in the day just to fit your schedule, because life, it doesn't stop when you want to get in shape. And I thought it was. I was like, oh, everyone that's in shape, it's just because, they work from home, so it's fine. They can just, they have all the time in the world, whatever, or they don't have a job, or they don't have a stressful job, and it's just, everyone has their own life going on. You could look at a bunch of different people, and they probably have problems that are worse than you, and if they're not problems that are worse than yours, they're still struggling with something, right? So it's you can't really... Every time you put an excuse onto someone else as to they have this because they have some special advantage, you're kind of just robbing yourself of the opportunity to have that thing. Because it's your circumstances are yours. You're never going to have someone else's. It's not going to change. So just, take it for what it is, It's partly a victim mentality that I used to have. And it was just oh, poor me. I wish I had a better schedule so that I could work out and actually, prioritize my health. And it was if I did have that better schedule, I would find another excuse to say why I couldn't do it. Because in that, victim mentality, your brain is looking for an excuse and looking for a reason. Whereas, now my mentality is okay, so because I have a busy schedule, I don't get to experience living a healthy life. That's the sacrifice that I have to make. Okay, my schedule's busy and I kind of just have to, I can't do anything about it. Versus when it was a victim mentality thing that I used to do, it'd be oh, I have a busy schedule, so it's okay if I'm a little overweight, or if I'm a little chunky, or if I'm, whatever. If I'm, taking shortcuts, cutting corners, stuff like that. And it got to a point where I was just I don't give a fuck about my schedule. I don't care what I have to do, because all the things that are on my plate, I wanted them to be there. I wanted to have those responsibilities. I also wanted to be fit. I could only tolerate my own excuses so much. Where I was oh, it makes sense that you're drinking a lot, you're in college. Oh, it makes sense that you're eating out a lot. You're in college, you're bartending, you're busy. It got to a point where I was I don't give a fuck if it makes sense, if it's valid, if it's not. I, don't want to be pulling on my shirt when I go out. I don't want to hate the outfits that I put on when I try to go out with my friends. I don't want to experience that, and it made me so frustrated where I was I don't care if I only have 20 minutes a day to put to this shit, I'm gonna do it. And I think that was, the key pivotal moment in my, from switching that victim mentality that I had, because I don't talk about this often, but I used to, I don't talk about this often, but I used to be, really, really lazy. Extremely lazy, to the point where I would, it was always with getting up in the morning. It was so hard for me on the weekends. I would sleep until, 10 a.m., 11 a.m., sometimes even noon, and sometimes I'd sleep all day. And then on the, work days and stuff, I would wake up, 5 seconds before I had to go to work, and it wouldn't give me time to prep my food. It wouldn't give me time to even have a coherent plan. I wasn't even awake yet, rolling up to work. And it started my day, like, in chaos. And I was like, oh, like, why can't I get ahead? Why is it so hard for me to make progress? Like, what's going on? And it's like, the person that you want to be, the body that you want to have, the life that you want to lead, they hold themselves to a certain standard, and that standard probably isn't waking up 5 minutes before your schedule or your shift starts, or you have to be at work, or sleeping in all day on your free time when you could be using that to get ahead, to train, to do something to make yourself actually grow and develop. And like I say this often, and I used to do this too, like, every excuse you have is valid. Your schedule may be busy. You might have 3 kids. You might be a busy parent. You might have a really, like, excruciating job. I mean, I have plenty of clients that are insanely busy. It doesn't matter how many excuses that you have. If you want it, you won't accept it. If you want it bad enough, you won't tolerate those excuses. You probably are busy. You're probably stressed. You probably do have 1,000,001 things going on, but all of us do. Part of the journey that makes it so fulfilling when you finally do achieve it is knowing that you had every opportunity to be like, oh, I'm busy. I don't have time. Because maybe you don't. But you know what you did? You did it anyways. I did it even though I didn't have time. I did it even though I worked 2 jobs. I did it even though I sit at a desk all day long. For hours on end. I sit at a desk all day long and I still fucking did it. Because if you didn't have those excuses, if you didn't have an excuse to quit, it wouldn't be anything worth achieving. Like, if it was easy, you wouldn't want to do it. Because as much as everyone thinks they want the end result, oh, I want the dream physique, I want the dream body, like, yeah, you want to be healthier, you want to lose fat, you want to look better, of course, those are all pros. But at the end of the day, what actually develops you is that journey and going through it. I think I want to say a TikTok or a reel the other day, and it was like, if the whole point was getting to the top of the mountain, you would just take a helicopter there. And not many people do that. People go on hikes, people go on runs. Like, you think people run marathons when they could just drive a car 26.2 miles? No, it's about the journey. That's literally what it's about. All this to say, if you are struggling, if you are thinking that someone else has a better advantage over you and you're just too busy, you just got too much going on, I promise you, that doesn't matter. All that matters is how badly you want to be better and how badly you want to change. That's literally it. That's quite literally it. Alright guys, I will catch you when it is time to eat. It is time to eat. I'm gonna go in with a Greek yogurt bowl. I kind of want to blend it just because I don't want to sit there and eat it. I usually do frozen fruits in my Greek yogurt bowl. That way they don't go bad as fast and they can just sit them in the freezer. And then also because it helps get the yogurt like this thick consistency, almost like it's ice cream. Now, I think today I'm gonna blend it just because it takes longer for me to eat it because I have sensitive teeth, so it's like it takes longer for me to eat it whenever I am chewing it. So we're gonna blend it today just because I gotta get into client calls soon, so we're gonna have to move a little bit faster, but it's totally fine. I actually really enjoy this smoothie, Greek yogurt thing, whatever. It's one of my favorite post-workout meals. I usually either do yogurt in the mornings or like egg white omelet with some eggs, depending on what I'm feeling. But the key ingredients that we're gonna be going for here is a little bit of fiber, obviously some carbs, and then obviously protein. And then some fat as well. We're going to go in with a little bit of peanut butter too. So actually, it's a perfectly well-rounded meal, and I'm pretty excited to eat it. So I'm going to make that for you guys, and then I'm going to show you the final product. It's actually funny, though, because the yogurt bowl thingy doesn't fit in one of these. Like, I need a bigger one, bigger blender. So I usually have to blend it twice and then put it in a big cup. But it still gets the job done. And sometimes, like, when I don't have a huge appetite in the morning always, or sometimes I'm just not super hungry right when I wake up. Typically, I'm hungry after a workout, but sometimes whenever I'm hungry, I just put it into a smoothie. That way I can get everything that I need to get and not just say, oh, I wasn't hungry, and then just like skip a meal. So basically we're gonna make 2 of these filled with blueberries, frozen mango, non-fat plain Greek yogurt, and normally the vanilla one is good. And you might be like, Megan, ew, non-fat plain Greek yogurt, that's disgusting because it tastes like sour cream. It does. It makes really good ranch seasoning, or ranch dressing, but that's besides the point. I add like a shit ton of honey to it. For the carb factor. And I've noticed that when I try to do it with like the regular sweetened like vanilla Greek yogurt, like the Oikos and stuff, it's too sweet. So the plain Greek yogurt by itself, obviously it's like, tastes like shit. But when you mix it with the honey and all the fruits, it actually balances like phenomenally. So this is what half of it looks like. I'm going to add just a splash of milk to give it some consistency so it blends good. And then we're gonna blend literally another one and then mix it into a big cup. Now the trick with this is you wanna be so conservative with it because you want this to be thick. You don't want it to be some watery ass, runny ass, like you don't want it to ruin it. So you just gotta be really, really conservative with it. I would always add too much liquid and it would never taste good because I always wanted it to be thick, like where I could damn near eat it with a spoon. I could never get it to be like that. And it was always because I added too much liquid. So you would rather add, like incrementally add the milk than just do one huge pour, because then you're kind of like screwed. You can't really undo that. And you gotta shove it. So a lot of the times I do it past the max fill line and everything has been fine. But, you know, proceed with caution if you're doing this, and that's also the case for you. So you gotta shake it up a little bit just to make sure that the small amount of liquid that is in here is properly like spread out. All right. Let's see if we need to add anything. Before you add any more milk, try to see if you can like shake it up. This is not really moving at all, so it's probably gonna need a little more milk, which is fine. Like I said, this is the better way to do it than have a lot of liquid to drink, because when it's runny, it's kind of hard to enjoy. All right, we're gonna go in with more. But it's getting a good consistency. I like it. Honestly, we might put this into a bowl and eat it with a spoon. All right, we're gonna put it into this bowl, and then we're gonna make shake number 2. So it's a good thick consistency. Oh yeah, see, it comes out like a thick, like, I'll show you. See, this is what you wanna get here, just like that. All right, now I'm gonna pop this in the freezer while I work on making its twin. This is meal number 1. And let's just do a quick taste test. 10 out of 10, not too sweet. The plain Greek yogurt and the peanut butter, or the saltiness of the peanut butter, kind of offsets all the honey that I threw in there, and like the sweetness of the fruits. It's easier for me to get this down with like sensitive teeth and stuff like that. And this is like my go-to breakfast whenever I'm like having a sweet tooth. Usually sometimes I wake up and I'm like really wanting like an omelet or some eggs or like some chicken sausage, maybe something like that. Whenever I have a sweet tooth, I try to make something like this or like this same flavor profile. But maybe I'll switch up like different fruits. Maybe I'll use chocolate milk. Maybe I'll go banana chocolate honey. Banana chocolate milk, honey, a little bit of salt, and a scoop of chocolate protein powder. Sometimes I'll do that instead of doing the whole Greek yogurt thing. But today, I'd give this a good 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Mainly because it's just like a lot of volume and it's going to be a lot of food to get down, but it's definitely going to keep me full because of the fat and the fiber. It's going to help me hit my protein goal, and it's going to help me get all my micronutrients from the fruits as well. Okay, so I just finished client check-ins. I actually record all of my calls, which means that I have to send them the recording of the call just in case they miss something or they forget something, and then also type up their actionable steps for the next week, and then obviously we're going to assess their adherence to that. Other than that, this bowl here is taking me a long time to finish. I thought it was going to be something I was able to finish fast. I had to throw a straw in there because the whole spoon thing was not working. But right now I'm going to wrap up the client stuff that I was just doing, type up all the things, send over the recordings of our calls, and what we're going to work on for this next coming week. I'm going to work on that while also trying to get this bowl down, and then I will see you guys at lunch. Okay, so I'm still working on the client check-ins, but I'll throw my client's little progression right up here. She went from 126 pounds to 137. We've been through one cut together, and now this is our first bulk together. She'd came to me previously having tried to bulk on her own but didn't really know what to do, so she was just like tired of being skinny fat and like wanted to be able to put on some muscle mass so she could look lean and toned, but wanted to like figure out how am I going to put on muscle mass but also not gain fat, because she just felt exhausted, burnt out, and didn't really know what to do, but she knew she wanted that change. And so that 126 that you're seeing there on the screen was her attempting to bulk. And you can see now the 137 on the screen is how you do a proper bulk, where you build muscle mass and then you give the fat some shape to adhere to so that you don't just look fluffy and skinny fat. And if you improperly bulk or if you dirty bulk, you're going to put on a lot more fat than necessary, and it's actually going to be adverse to your goals, because the more fat that you accrue, the less athletic you could be, therefore reducing your training efficiency. So you don't want to dirty bulk. This, like recompositioning here, everything that we have done has been strategic. Just got to be patient. And that's one thing that we've worked on every single check-in, rather than just being like, okay, here's what you need to eat, you need to train like this. Yeah, obviously I tell her that all the time, and I tell her what to do, and I like build everything out for her, but also it's like, how can I get her or any client to be consistent enough for a certain period of time or enough time to be able to get results like this? Like, that is a lot of what it is, I guess, behind the scenes, like as a coach. Like, yes, programming matters. Yes, nutrition matters. The phases that you go through matter. All the things like is strategic, yes. But it's also like, how can I get the client, or Eileen in this case, to adhere to this for the amount of time necessary to be able to get the desired result? And then all I want to say, shout out to her, super proud of her, because she has had to work hard. you know, she still lives life. She got her degree while we were coaching, and then she got her first job while we were coaching. So amazing job. She's a killer. Super proud of her. Just wanted to shout her out for that because, I mean, I was just on the phone with her. Little surprise for lunch. Now, I'm actually out of chicken. I need to go to the store and get fresh chicken and the frozen chicken that I keep on hand. But my girlfriend came home with some goods. So we're going to kind of like see what she brought. Hopefully some rendition of chicken. Just, you know, something we can work with here. All right, so let's open this bad boy up. Ooh, there we go. So I'll be having some of this chicken and the onions because she hates onions, so onions are definitely for me. I believe these enchiladas are going to be yours. Claim for her. And then looks like we got some good rice down there. Perfect, because I was also out of rice as well. And what do we have in this little bowl here? I don't really like beans that much, unless mixed with the rice, but I prefer charo beans. Unless whenever I'm having fajitas, sometimes I like to like smear a little bit of the refried bean on the tortilla with a little bit of like guac, and then go in with the fajita meat. But I will be having the chicken, onions, and rice. So yeah, that'll be what we're having for lunch. Right there. There you go. I'll see you guys at snack. All right, so I've been working on client stuff for the last couple of hours. It is 4:19. I'm going to go do my cardio. Today's cardio is going to be basketball. I want to go outside, get some sunlight, move around, play, you know, go out there, break a sweat. And I'm lucky right now that it's at this point in my bodybuilding prep or in my bulk where I have a little bit of wiggle room with cardio. I can do what I want to do. If I want to go play basketball, I can go play basketball. If I can want to go run, I can go on a run. If I want to go on the treadmill, I can go on the treadmill. I can do whatever I want. Versus whenever I'm on prep and stuff, I gotta be on the Stairmaster, I gotta be on the treadmill. It's much more regimented. Here, really the only parameters is low intensity, steady state, 45 minutes. That's what we're rocking with. So I'm gonna go and play some basketball. I will see you guys after basketball. I'll be having a protein shake, and then we'll make dinner together, and then wrap up some client things for tomorrow, because I like to have everything ready for the things that I have to do first thing in the morning. So the client touch points that I have to do in the morning, I talk to them on a day-to-day basis. Everyone though is grouped on like touch points on different days. I'm gonna go play some basketball. I will see you guys when I have my shake when I get back. All right, guys, we just got back from the grocery store and doing cardio and dinner. It's gonna be super simple. Pico. I love pico. I put this on everything. We're going in with the sushi rice. This is the best rice that you could be having for your rice bowls and stuff. So good. And then we have a slab of ground beef that still needs to thaw or defrost. Good thing is we're not actually gonna be eating dinner for like another 2 hours or so. So that has time to thaw and defrost. All right, guys, we are all fresh and clean. We're making a protein shake with 2 bananas. We're gonna go in with some raw, just isolate protein powder. We're gonna do 2 scoops of that. We're gonna do like a couple dashes of this just for consistency. And then we're gonna add in some honey, which is still in the pantry. And then we're gonna do salt to taste to make it absolutely delicious. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and start making that, and then we'll do a taste test afterwards. All right, guys, so we just finished up making that smoothie, and right now I'm building out some program stuff for clients. So let's try it out. You can definitely taste the protein in there, but I have 2 bananas in there as well. So pretty much offsets it, plus the honey, sweetness is really good with the salt. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. I absolutely despise protein shakes, but I would rather drink a protein shake than have to eat 2 extra chicken breasts. So there's that. Now, right now, we are building out a dynamic stretching program for my clients so you can see what we're doing. Here, let me get it full screen. So this is kind of what it looks like right here. I'll show you guys. Okay, so as you can see, there's like a, database of exercises that I program for them here. And so right now I'm just building out her, like what she's going to do leading into her workout. So on her lower body day, she's going to have a certain set of dynamic stretches to follow. And then her upper body day, she's going to have a certain set of dynamic stretches to follow. So I'll be working on that right now and then sending that over to her this evening so that she can implement it starting tomorrow for her upper body day, and then she can take that into the rest of this week. Here she has her warm-up for her upper day. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys here. She has her warm-up for her upper day, and then she has her lower day, and then we're just going to go down here. We're going to click Send to Program. We're going to go Send Now, Save, and that has now been sent over. Perfect. And of course, everything that I just sent over to her right now is basically what we discussed earlier on the phone today, and like what she was telling me she was struggling with and what she wants to work on. And that's pretty much the information that I used to build out this dynamic warm-up for her here. That way she can go into all of her lifts, getting the most out of each lift, right? something I talk about all the time is like wanting to be as efficient as possible. And so when you really delve into the details, and I'm really the person who's going to be delving into the details here for them. So when you're able to do that, you just get a little more progress in every single session. And then in doing that over an extended period of time, you get an actual visible amount of progress that you wouldn't have seen had you not paid attention to those little details. So the little things like that you can optimize are important in the long run because, like I said, small amounts of progress that you could be getting over a longer period of time actually make the world of difference. But I'm going to finish my shake right now, and I'm going to work on building something else out that I have for my clients, which is this little community right here where everyone's going to kind of get to have all the resources that they could possibly ever need to be able to succeed, but that's not ready yet. But I'm getting ready to build it out and get all my clients up in there. All right, guys, the rice is ready, which means right now all we've got to do is cook the ground beef. Today I'm going to keep it super simple. I'm going to go in with the Lowry's seasoned salt, and I got the meat already thawed here. All right, so we got the beef with the seasoning all incorporated. Like I said, one of the two seasonings that I usually go with. Today I'm going with this one. I'm gonna throw this on the pan. So the key with getting this on the pan is right now it's heating up. You wanna let it get hot. Then you add your oil, and then you wanna make a huge burger patty. You wanna press it down, let it form a crust on one side, and then you can start mincing it up. That way you have some crispy, crunchy pieces with seasoning, and it has a good crust to it when you're eating it with your meals. Whenever it doesn't have a good crust, when you reheat it, it usually doesn't taste very good. So it's imperative that you get this crust on this beef. I'll show you how to do it in a second. All right, you can see now that I have it flattened like a patty. That's how you want to let it form the crust. You gotta let it sit there for a little bit. You see the crust that we got here? All right, there's the finished product. Looks so good. Now let's plate it up. All right, guys, this is the last meal of the day. We have pico, rice, ground beef, and then we have some cottage cheese to make it a little extra creamy. And top that off with some sugar-free or low-sugar ketchup. I'm gonna mix this up so you guys can see the consistency. It's so good. I love throwing cottage cheese to make it like creamier, and it kind of helps the bowl just like blend together well. So this is quite a pretty big meal. Here's how we're looking. Do a little taste test for y'all. That shit hits. That's fire. And that is pretty much everything that I have for you guys. That is how I stay locked in, how I stay dialed in, and how I make every single day count. If you want me to be your coach to coach you through this and help you get dialed in, I will leave the application in the description of this video. If you're a good fit and I have spots available, I will be personally reaching out to you. If you have any questions at all, need any help, or want to message me at all, I'll leave my Instagram in the description of this video, and I'll get back to you with a voice message. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to do hard shit and be confident, but most importantly, do not forget how much I'm rooting for y'all and how much I love y'all. I love you guys so much. I'll see you in the next video.